Alright guys, welcome back. And if you're new, think about liking and subscribing. Helps out the channel. Today we're going to build a portable rain catcher. We got our one rain catcher here. I actually got some silicone on it. We'll see how that does. But I was thinking, if you're bugging out or, you don't have gutters, there's, open areas everywhere. I was thinking about building a portable rain catcher. I was running through ideas. We're going to use a tarp. The smallest one I can find right now at the store was 8x10, so we'll use that. We're going to use PVC. I've got caps. I already pre-drilled the holes in the caps. We're going to run these bolts through the top. I'll lose a nut, but we're going to put a washer on it. Then we're going to run it through the eyelet in the tarp in the four corners. So each corner has one of these eyelets, but there'll be a washer. Plus it doesn't fit through there. And you got your cap. Put your bolt. Now what I'm going to do, I got a 20-foot stick of PVC. And I'm going to make mine each corner 5 foot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it 2.5 feet. And I'm going to use a coupler. I'm going to glue one end to 2.5 feet, and the other end won't be glued. So it can take down and only be 2.5 feet, and it'll fit down into a bucket. So you better, and the caps, they'll be attached to the corners. And they won't be glued either. It'll just pop off the top. Or you could glue it and leave it on a 2-foot section. It just depends how you fold it up. And it'll all fit down into a bucket. You can get a 5-gallon bucket, a 7-8 gallon bucket. I have some, it's hard to see it, but it's over in this corner. They're for cows. It's a big black tub, and it usually comes with like molasses in it. Like a molasses mixture, and then they eat it up, and there's piles of them tubs. So I have a bunch of those laying around. It all depends your scalability. If you need it bigger, bigger. Also, I got rebar, pieces of rebar, which I tried to find bigger ones, but this is all they had was this little tiny. The next size up would be a little bit better, because you can stake it in the ground, and then take your PVC and just slide right over it. It'd stop bouncing. And you can just slide right over it, and it'll just sit in there. But if you can see, there's a little extra room in there. The next size up would fit way better. I didn't want to go with 1/2-inch PVC because I want a little more rigid, a little bit stronger. This got some bend to it, but 1/2-inch will bend way more. Just all depends. This is kind of like a proof of concept. We're just going to go with see what we can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all these to 2.5 feet. So we'll need 8 of them. I'll pre-glue all of them, all 4 of these on the end of it. And we'll set up our little eyelets. See, the eyelets too I want so you can tie a guideline to it and come out and stake it. Because you have your 4 pieces sticking up and they can kind of bend. But if you run a string through here and run out with a tent stake, you can stake out all 4 corners each way you want. And you want a little bit of sag in the tarp. And the tarp in the very center will cut a square or just an opening. But like I said, proof of concept. Everybody's going to have their own little idea. This is just to get you started and see what you'd want to do and how you'd build yours. I think you can get smaller tarps. I think I've seen a smaller tarp, like a 4x6 or 6x6, But 8x10, right now you can only get what you get. So let's get this measured and cut. Oh, and the thing, if you have a cat, this thing, they make pretty good handy little containers to carry things. I got my cutters in here. These are pretty good. And I got a industrial Sharpie. I don't know what that means, but. So yeah, we'll want to cut, we'll do about 30 inches. These things are pretty neat. Click. That's a pretty good cut. So we got our 2-foot section. So what we'll do, our cap will go on one end when you, oops. I just throw it all on the ground today. But yeah, probably take a knife and bevel a little bit, but you'll have your tarp. You'll just click it onto here, push it down, you're ready to go. You got your eyelet will be on here. You got your coupling, which you can just make 5-foot sections. You can just run 5-foot sections, but I want it to fold down to just this length. So you have your 4 pieces, and then you put your 4 pieces together, kind of like tent poles. Make things a lot easier. These things fit pretty tight, which I'll pre-glue all of these on. So right now I'm just going to cut all these pieces. I'll pre-glue all these pieces. So you guys won't have to watch all that. Alright, since we're not making it watertight, the glue don't have to be too crazy. It's just, I just want it there to keep the one piece together so you don't lose this. I guess technically you don't need it. Man, I got a lot of glue on there. I guess technically you don't need to glue it. You can just stick it all together, but you'll end up losing this piece. So, the less moving parts, the better, I guess. Which, I guess if you were to do that, then I would just would have left it 5-foot lengths. But I want it kind of portable. Alright, so now we have all of our caps, not our caps, but all of our couplings are all glued on. It's becoming less and less parts. You can take, I would recommend getting a little thicker ones if you can find them, and just take a grinder and kind of put a little bit of a point, and then maybe kind of, and so if you're hammering on it, it's going to mushroom out eventually. Or you get some wooden dials that fit here, sharpen them, and then just drill in it, or you can just kind of stake it. My idea is to have these caps on here. You'll have guidelines, so you won't have to stake it in the ground that hard, just enough to get it to stay. Let's open this tarp. All this stuff was from my local hardware store. Pretty good guys there. If you do live in Alabama near me, they'd be called Hoppers Building Supply. So here's the corner. Here's my idea. So I pre-drilled all these caps already, just sort of in the center. I have a washer just to help keep it from messing the eyelet up a bit. Eventually it is, because it's just cheap tarp. But you go through here, got your washer. Take your cap, run through here. And you can thread your nut on there. And I'm gonna have to get like a deep socket. But see, now you have your cap, your loop, and you can tie a guideline to it, which would be pretty handy. And then you can just leave these on the tarp, or if you want, you can glue your other piece of pipe to it. Which, if you can fold it up pretty decent, it'd probably be better to do that. Everybody's got their own little ways of doing things. And then you just pop your piece in there. And you got the tarp. We'll tie our guideline off. So that, and then you got your extension. You throw your extension in there. But you could probably bevel these edges just a little bit so it fits a little better. There you go. Get your 5-foot pole. And we'll just make 4 more of them. Well, 3 more of them. And I think there's more eyelets, so technically you could have 6 poles. How many ever poles you want. However you want to do it. You could put 90 or T's here, go that way, T up, put a cap, go on over. It's just as much as you want to spend. You could build a whole PVC structure with it. This is the cheaper way and more portable. So you just take it apart, pop this end off. Okay. And you got your tarp. You have 4 of these on the corners. You have these little pile, which let me get a 5-gallon bucket. So you got a 5-gallon bucket. I'm not going to use this. This is just my, just for shows. At my local feed store, they had, I think, would it be like 8 or 10 gallon? But they wanted $25, and it's the same price as one of these big drums. So I didn't get it for now. Tomato. See, they'll fit in here. Have all your steaks, and then you can shove your tarp in there. Have your other steaks. And there you go. Now I'm gonna go set it up. We'll probably set it up here in the field a little bit. We'll see how it looks. Well, I almost forgot. We gotta do our little hole in the center. Still not exactly sure how I want to do it. There's 9 creases, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So roughly here. I think I might just take it, kind of pull it up a little bit, and then just snip it. And that'll give me a bit of a round hole. But we got our hole in the center. I mean, you can sit there and measure it all if you want, but that's pretty close to center because there's creases every so often. And then you just kind of give it a good eyeball. When you stake it up, you just have a nice curve to it. And the rain's gonna hit it. Follow gravity on down, fill your bucket up. This stuff doesn't last good in the sun, but say portability. You know it's gonna rain, it's getting cloudy. You go out and stake it up. You can even leave your 4 stakes up, as long as you don't like fall on them and whatnot. Or, you know, between trees, anything. Just another source of getting water, just in case. Because you know, as I drive around, working things, and you look at ponds, like we get rain here a decent amount, better than other states, and the ponds are still really low. So water is probably going to be an important thing. That's why I'm trying to come up with ideas. All right, let's get it set up. All right, guys, hammer. 2 tent stakes, some paracord, and we got our bucket with our stuff in it. But I'd go with a bigger bucket, which I would use one of my, like I was telling you about them, those lick tubs. They're probably like 25 gallon at least, imagine. Or you could go higher on your stakes and put a 55 gallon drum under it. And have, you know, 6-7 foot stakes pipe. But this is the first time setting it up, so I'll see how it goes. I laid the tarp out so I can stake my 4 pieces of rebar pretty much near it, so I'm not just guessing. So we're going to try to get just a little bit of a sag in it, which we can control that with our tent stakes. So now a piece of rebar, what I'll probably do is this, got my corner, I'll fold it back, come in about a foot or so. Now, if you had a good spot, you could leave your stakes, just put a bucket or something over them, because you trip and fall on these. You won't need water no more. Now, I noticed some of my videos are losing sound now on YouTube, which is kind of crazy. Like, I edit it, I can hear it, I post it, and after a while, people can't hear it no more. I think you should be able to take this, pop it over there, which I don't have that. May have to do that. You may have to take these, use a little sandpaper or whatnot, or just put a little bevel, a little chamfer. A little bevel, a little chamfer, just so it can slip together a little easier. But it's not too bad, because tarp's gonna be pushing down on it anyway. But it wasn't windy until I'm putting up a sail. And now we're getting a little wind. That's how it goes, isn't it? Well, I like to have a nice breeze. This is a good place for a breeze. Live on top of a mountain. It's very comfortable. Plus, you could probably also hunker down under this. I mean, you got a hole in the center, but you could be around it on the edges. The glue. go. We'll get the garden hose and test it. For now, I'm not going to use tent stakes, but we can do a demonstration. Let's see. I have this all wrapped up. It's kind of, there we go. See if I can remember my fancy nut. These tent pegs are interesting. They have like a slit in them. You can pull the rope through and hook it. But yeah, you can tent peg it out. Let's grab the hose and shoot some water in there and see how it works. But it's got some nice sag to it. Like I said, you can tighten this out more and more. It's a good thing about the 3/4. It's pretty flexible. You can bend it in a decent U shape. So let me run around the corner here. Put it on a shower. And then we got the water, we see where it's coming out. Yeah, that's why I need to figure, we'll figure on some kind of cone system or something so we can adjust it. And just that little tiny, just this little tiny mist for a few seconds. Look at all that water we're catching. So I do believe it works pretty good. I mean, that was just a slight little mist and it caught a bunch of it. And it funnels right in the bucket. So this is just the first step. You know, just get your idea, you build it, and then you prove upon it as you go. But you'll be able to pack that up, fold it, put it in the bucket, put all your pieces in the bucket, and you have it in the bucket. If you get like a 7 gallon? A little bit taller ones, it'll fit way better. And you can carry, you know, your cooking pot in there for boiling the water and all that. So I feel like that was a decent success. So you guys let me know what you think. And I appreciate you guys watching as always. And you know the crap we have to say, like and subscribe. And let me know what you think of the portable rain catch. Figure we come up with it. Look at that. But if it's getting a little windy, you definitely want to stake it out. But you can run multiple guidelines. You could run 3 or 4 off each one. It just depends. You can get bigger tarp, smaller tarp, bigger PVC. I mean, the sky's the limit. You just get it in your head and you just snowball your idea. You do a little trial, see how it works. There you go. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe and stay prepared.